To me, at least, I think the funniest part about all this is the NBA's like, yeah, we're going to seek out that Ja Morant gets the help he needs. In the first game back, he's back to saying, hey, it's a parade in South City. Yeah, like, no, this dude didn't get any help whatsoever. He didn't change a bit. It's a parade in South City, yeah. All right. Matt. Calm down. I know that was cringy. I know it was corny, but yeah. Just like Skip Bayless once said, it's a parade in South City, yeah. Okay. Don't click off. I'm gonna lock in. We're getting down to business. We're getting serious. So if you couldn't tell by the title of this video, I'm probably just gonna title it, "It's a Parade Inside My City." We gotta talk about old Ja Morant yet again. And I want to make this a really short and sweet video because as much as I've criticized Ja Morant, as much as the media has criticized Ja Morant, everybody has criticized Ja Morant, I do want to give credit and respect when it's due. If some of you have missed it and you didn't hear the news, Ja Morant, he's back. He's back with the Grizzlies. He's doing A-okay. And at one point in time, only a couple weeks ago, what seemed like a major deal where people said he needed to go see a therapist, he's fighting demons, he's doing this, he's doing that. It now seems like, looking back on it now, it wasn't a big deal at all. And I remember I was trying to tell all you guys, hey, this isn't a situation where Ja Morant needs to find help or needs to go see some psychiatrist or talk to a therapist. He was just being dumb. He's a young guy who's a multi-millionaire. He's one of the best basketball players in the world. He's got all the clout, hype, and attention anybody could ask for, and he's on track to be a billionaire. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly, a billionaire. If he plays his cards correctly with the money he's going to receive from the NBA and his sponsorships and also just some other stuff, odd and ends like investments, he will be a billionaire. I know what you're sitting there saying, yo, Matt, why you tell me this? I already know it. And I wanted to bring it up just to remind some of you guys, when you receive all the money, when you have all the notoriety that Ja Morant's received in the past couple of years, it can easily get to your head. You see, there's one thing about professional athletes that every single one of them have in common. They almost believe in themselves so much, they think they're invincible. And to be honest, to even believe for a second you can be an NBA player or an NFL player, you do got to have that crazy self-belief where some people would label it as crazy. I mean, you've heard the stories where guys say, oh yeah, I told my teacher I wanted to be an NBA or a professional NFL football player and they laughed at me. So whenever these guys do make it to the NBA and they get all this money, they get all this power, which with money does come power, they feel invincible. And a lot of people have stated this, I've talked about it. Ja Morant, he seems to be influenced by music and we're all influenced by it. Whenever we get in our showers, cars, or we're at the gym or put in our AirPods or listen to music on whatever occasion you want to listen to, most people want to listen to music that we can relate to. If you're from the South, you're a country person, you live on a farm, more times than not, I know people like this, if they live that farm lifestyle, they're going to listen to, guess what? Country music. On the flip side, for some of my friends growing up that grew up in, let's just say, not so great environments and they had a struggle, they tend to listen to rap. Not everybody, but I would go out on a limb here and say most people listen to music they can relate to. Or, and I should have said this earlier, people listen to music that they want to relate to. And to be honest, I've told you guys this, that's all I ever thought it was with Ja Morant. He was doing nothing more than your local high school gangster posting cringy Snapchat and Instagram videos saying, oh, you don't want no smoke with me, buddy. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. When I said that, you immediately thought of that one guy. Our experiences on this earth are not too different from one another. We all went to high school with that one guy who was posting on Snapchat and Instagram how he's got all these guns, money, and etc. There's always going to be those dudes who post those cringy videos where they're rapping and singing along with rap lyrics, knowing dang well they do not live that lifestyle. But anyways, that is besides the point. Getting on track here, Mr. Ja Morant, this whole "it's a parade inside my city" thing, it is taking over the world. I thought he was going to quit with the antics, but no, first game back, he's back to saying, it's a parade inside my city, yeah, and you know how it goes. And now he's got his daughter saying it, and most recently, he had a little baby saying it after one of the games. Skip Bayless has said it, and I've even heard an announcer say it. That saying, that quote from Ja Morant that he got from NBA YoungBoy, it has taken over the world, and I think it's cool. Because we have finally turned the page in this chapter of Ja Morant's life where we're just overlooking that incident that happened a couple of weeks ago. In Ja Morant's 3 games since being back, he hasn't skipped a beat whatsoever, and I'd argue and say that he's kind of back to himself already. And I don't want to say it shocks me, but it kind of does at the same time. This dude missed a lot of action. He was going through a lot of stuff, people criticizing him, and he comes back like nothing happened. It was almost like a vacation. In his first game back, 17 points. Right after that, 18 points. And most recently against the Hawks, he had 27 points. And in these games, he's doing it efficiently. 46% from the field, 67% from the field, and 53% from the field. Yeah, that's not too bad if you gotta ask me. And I think this should also go to show you and just prove to you how talented some of these guys are. I'm sure he was shooting around and practicing a little bit, but essentially speaking, Ja Morant, he sat out for 2 weeks, comes back, and he's right back to normal. I know your parents and coaches are always going to tell you this, oh, hard work beats talent, and that is the biggest lie myth you'll ever hear in your life. Yes, hard work, it will pay off, but more times than not, talent will always outweigh hard work. It will, and that's the reality check of this world. I'm not a fan of it. I'd rather hard work be rewarded over talent, but that's not reality. Now, don't get it twisted. When talent fails to work hard, occasionally that hard-working player can overtake that talented player. But for the most part, talent is king. That's why you see in the NBA draft, they take these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids who've only played 3 years of organized basketball because of talent and potential. The NBA scouts and GMs never go after the guy who stayed 4 or 5 years in college. Why? Because they don't want them. They don't care about hard work. They just want talented players. And let me make this clear. I'm not trying to throw some shade at Ja Morant because I'm sure he works hard. My point is, I'm just trying to prove to you how talented he is. He can miss an action for 8 games and he's back like nothing ever happened. To me at least, I think the funniest part about all this is the NBA is like, yeah, we're going to seek out that Ja Morant gets the help he needs. In the first game back, he's back to saying, hey, it's a parade in South City. Yeah, like, no, this dude didn't get any help whatsoever. He didn't change a bit. And I'm so curious. I just wish I could have seen Adam Silver's reaction to whenever he saw Ja Morant say that. This is either going 2 ways with the NBA. On one hand, they're either laughing about it, going, okay, yeah, Ja Morant, he's just taking it light and he's laughing all this off and having fun. Or the other way, and way number 2 is, they're pissed off about this, that Ja Morant is not taking it serious. I have no idea why the NBA would be mad about Ja Morant, how he's handling the situation, because I think he's doing the best he can. He's laughing it off. I mean, what do you want him to do? Go out there and have zero emotion whatsoever? No, that's not what basketball is about. The reason we love the NBA and people love watching the playoffs and all the games is for the emotion. There's one thing you can't take away from good old Ja Morant, and that is his passion for the game. He shows it. But just like this comment says, I'm not going to show you a bunch of them. This is the only one I'm going to show you. There's still a lot of people who think he's the same old Ja Cornball Morant. This person stated, he tries really hard, but everything he does comes off as painfully uncool. And that got over 250 likes, so I'm going to assume 258 people agree with him. And I do see where he's coming from because I was the one who told you Ja Morant, he's acting like a cornball, but I don't know. I just think he's having fun recently, and I don't mind it. I don't mind it a single bit because it almost appears like he's mocking the media for mocking him. I'm going to stick by this. I think Ja Morant is a nice, genuine, and humble dude deep down. I really believe that. It just goes back to he got all this fame, all this money in a short amount of time. It got to his head, and here we are. And this may be an unpopular opinion, but I think a main reason he tries to come off as hard and I guess you could say gangsterish or thuggish at times is because of his dad. I feel like if Ja Morant had a dad like LeVar Ball who kept him in check all the time and didn't encourage this type of behavior, he wouldn't have been in this place to start off with. But nobody's ready for that conversation. I remember people criticizing LeVar Ball years ago, and I never understood it. People were criticizing LeVar Ball for being in his son's lives. Like, what? What sense does that make whatsoever? We want to criticize these fathers for not being in their kids' lives, and then when they're in their life, it's like, oh yeah, he's doing such a terrible thing, he's controlling them, and blah, 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 blah. But just like with everything in life, no matter how bad a situation is, there's one way you can fix it. And that's winning. As long as you win, you can brush anything aside. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what it is. As long as you're winning, it doesn't matter. You'll be able to brush it along and nobody's going to care. The only time people are going to point the finger and say he needs to quit acting this way is if they start losing a lot of games. All in all, I think it's cool to see Ja Morant back out there, and I do think he's learned a lot from this experience. I just hope and pray he's done with this gangster act. I sort of want to believe he is done with it, but hey, like they say, time will tell. Let me know your thoughts down below, but roll with it!